And the new training. Gennady Golovkin's a new training. How's it going? I'm sure a lot of you out there are wondering, like myself, what the hell is going on? So, look, I'll tell you right off the bat. I like what I'm hearing, what I'm watching, what I'm reading. All that. I think it's a good move. I just don't like the way it was done. But we're not going to dwell on the past. It is time to move on. Basically, Gennady Golovkin, new coach. He wants to pull out the unseen potential, right? He wants to tap into that hidden potential because, Gennady Golovkin primarily, or maybe more than primarily, has relied on power. Okay, relied on power. Now, we're going to see the rebirth. Okay, hang on. I don't know if you can hear that. Let me turn off my fan. That's kind of loud. Okay, you guys know I'm in my new place, so getting my YouTube studio set up. But anyway, the rebirth of Gennady Golovkin. Okay, he's going to be basically a boxer slash puncher knockout artist. Okay, and nothing wrong with that. And really, the more I think about it, I don't know. I guess the more everything is kind of coming together. Triple G. Look, he didn't get any better. He did not get any better in his last handful of fights. He just did what he always does. Right? He knocks people out. Okay, we know highest knockout percentage in middleweight history. I believe the highest consecutive knockouts. What was it, 19, 20, 21, something like that? Going into the Daniel Jacobs fight, knocking everybody out before that. Not to mention nearly breaking Bernard Hopkins' record for title defenses. Okay, and he did it all with power. It was all power. So what did Abel Sanchez say? Remember, quote. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Abel Sanchez said, it's not broke, why change it, right? If it was working, why would we change what is working? Okay, he should have been the undisputed middleweight champion. 3 of the 4 major world titles needed the WBO from Billy Joe Saunders, so, he accomplished a lot with that power and that regimen that they were using, so... it's kind of hard to, it's kind of hard to knock what Abel was doing, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, but now we have a new coach, and he wants to turn Gennady Golovkin into a puncher slash boxer, better defense, better head movement, just the whole package, okay? But the coach said he's not going to change Gennady Golovkin. He's just going to add to Triple G, so honestly, I think it's a good thing. I do. I think it's a good thing because, look at it this way. Gennady Golovkin, his power has failed him in the 3 fights now. Daniel Jacobs, Canelo 1, Canelo 2. Number 36. Okay, why is that? What does that number mean? 36. That number, he's went 36 rounds without a knockout. He had 1 knockdown with Daniel Jacobs in the last 3 12-round fights. So, obviously, what is the power fading? Is it a bad training camp? I don't know. I want to repeat that. 1 knockdown in 36 rounds, okay? That is 3 12-round fights, okay? And look, we know he landed clean on Canelo, so something is off, okay? And something needed to be changed. Look, maybe it is a good thing, but again, I don't like the way it was done. Switching gears, okay, Klitschko was the first person Jonathan Banks exclusively trained, okay, by himself after Emmanuel Stewart passed, okay, that was his first, but, like I said, Bank wants to make Gennady Golovkin, work with the jab. He said Triple G's number 1 punch should be the jab, okay, he should start with the jab and end with the jab, very fundamental, but I like it, okay, okay, they're talking about sparring, right? They wanted to use, really quick, that fast twitch muscle, quick, fast guys throwing lots of punches, punches and bunches during sparring. So again, I like that too. That they want to, basically, just change it up, right? Just change it up. The actual sparring partner. And Banks also said, safety first. They want to fight, a safety fight first, not an aggressive come forward fight. So look, it's very interesting. Even Gennady Golovkin said the training was, quote, interesting, because what does he know? Cut the ring off, pressure cooker, pressure fighter, break their will, break them down and make them quit, make them pay, make them hurt, drop them. That's what he knows. Okay. So they're trying to change that up now. So, and I really want to stress, okay, I don't think there's anything special, right? About Jonathan Banks. I don't know. I think he would probably tell you that himself. Like, he's a very basic coach, but at this point, I kind of think that Gennady Golovkin, that's what he needs. He needs to get to the fundamentals and get back to the basics, to make up for that age. I mean, what is he now, 37? So it's time to make changes. So again, I don't like how we got here with the whole Abel Sanchez thing, but we're not going to dwell on that. Another thing I want to mention before I forget, okay, they're working on his punch output, because look, you can look at Gennady Golovkin's stats, okay? The output has been on the decline, right, in his last just several fights. And according to Banks, it's because of his sparring partners. He said if Gennady Golovkin is sparring cruiserweights or even a super middleweight, he's going to adjust and acclimate to their output. So he needs true blue middleweights in the ring throwing punches and bunches. So I like that. You understand what I'm trying to tell you. Why spar a cruiserweight that's going to throw 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, whatever punches, when you can get a middleweight in there that's going to blast you with 40 or 50. And then Gennady Golovkin, he's got to keep up with that, with that pace. And it makes just perfect sense, because we know Abel Sanchez was bringing in much bigger sparring partners, a lot of super middleweights, So, again, I like that too. But we'll see. And, and I completely understand what he means, because I've talked to a lot of coaches and I get it. But Gennady Golovkin says it's a new chapter, a new story, a new beginning. He's a hungry student, hungry to learn. We're going to see a difference. It's a new approach. And, we're going to see a new Gennady Golovkin, and they're working on a lot of new things. Okay. And he said that, he couldn't really reveal much. And by the way, shout out to Cynthia Conte, and I believe with Ring Magazine. She did the interview that I watched, and I watched several interviews, read multiple articles, to bring you guys what I'm bringing you now, and I'm just giving you my insight on those interviews. But basically, I mean, look, here's the timeline. You got Gennady Golovkin, Abel Sanchez, 8, 9 years, and again, I don't like how they got there, but you can't knock Abel Sanchez, okay? I mean, look how far they went. They came a long, long, long way from that kid in Russia, or that man in Russia that came over to the U.S. I like box, big drama show. I like box. Think about it. Go back to the day. Go back to those days and look how far they came. They came a long, long way, and really nearly to the top. I mean, as far as you can possibly go in boxing, which is the undisputed middleweight champion. He was just one tick away. And I think if he would have fought Billy Joe Saunders back then, I think that would have happened. I mean, it definitely would have happened. So, look, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give Jonathan Banks a chance, and I'm curious to see what happens. I want to see, and I made a video talking about Gennady Golovkin's lack of body work, right? The head movement, the lack of defense, the lack of body work. I want to see improvements on all that, because, I mean, really, I think, and I always believed, there was untapped potential, and I thought Triple G was underrated as a boxer, because to me, you could tell like he wanted to box, but then his mind would go back to power, knockout. So I'm just really, to me, it's intriguing, and I want to see it. But have they had enough time together? I don't know. The fight it's right around the corner. You got the Steve Rolls and Gennady Golovkin. What is it? June 8th, I believe. Yeah, June 8th on DAZN, DAZ and DAZN. Get that app, by the way. So I don't really think it's enough time to see like a huge difference in Gennady Golovkin, but I think we will see a difference in Gennady Golovkin. And I'm also wanting to see the conditioning. the conditioning, right? What does he look like? Because again, in his past several fights, he was a little bit flabby, a little bit out of shape. Look how heavy he was breathing in the Canelo rematch. I thought the dude was going to pass out. He was gasping for air. We're talking round 2, round 3, and even the commentators and other people made comments about it. They said, wow, like he is really, really gasping for air. And, we're not even halfway through the fight. And meanwhile, Canelo, mouth closed, breathing through his nose, on his toes, moving around. So I'm curious if they're going to improve the conditioning as well, right? And I think they'd be smart to get a good strength and conditioning coach for Gennady Golovkin, along with the new coach Jonathan Banks. I think that would just be a hell of a team. Now, also, one thing I want to mention, the training camp apparently is not far from the old Big Bear camp out, with Abel, the summit. Okay, apparently where Gennady Golovkin is training, like they were talking about how they can actually bump into each other like on a morning run. So, right, you got Gennady Golovkin right, running down the road, and there's Abel, and could you, like, awkward, like how awkward, right? Triple G runs by, and Abel and his new, his co-fighters, whatever, they run by on the other side of the road, that would be a little bit awkward, but Golovkin said, yeah, if that happened, to me personally, I wouldn't do anything or say anything. It's, he's acting like there isn't, that kind of bad blood. Now, there is tension. Don't get it twisted. There is definitely tension, but not what you would call like bad blood, okay? Like where, something's going to happen. But by the way, I'm going to be covering the Charlo Adams fight June 29th, I think, May, June 29th, I believe, at NRG Stadium. So I'll be there to bring you guys some good stuff there. But anyway, just a quick summary. Like I said, don't like how we got here, but I do like that they're getting back to the basics, working on the fundamentals, and start with the jab, end with the jab, head movement, body work, things like that. Because a lot of you asked me, why didn't Gennady Golovkin go to the body? There was like 7, I believe, body punches out of 12 rounds. So there's definitely something missing, but do you blame Abel or do you blame Gennady Golovkin? Maybe Gennady Golovkin was just tired of the same old routine, and he needed a change, and we're going to see, like he said, a rebirth. He said, and the new, so we'll see. But anyway, what do you guys think about the change? I love reading your comments, and understand that I do. I read pretty much each and every comment on my YouTube channel. I just don't have time to reply to each and every one. So leave your comment below what you think.